he's brought down after a
Player of the game, senior libero Lauren Riskin has control.
Championship district tournaments, we have it here on STSPN.
And this is the private school boys lacrosse championship. This is the fourth of 4 games, and it's been raining all day, but now the sun is out, and we have the O'Day Fighting Irish and the Seattle Prep Panthers. And with us is Steve Sawyer, our lacrosse expert, and it's been a great day for lacrosse, and maybe the best game set for last year, Steve.
Yeah, we've seen some fantastic games, Perry, so far, but these guys definitely know each other. They've seen each other many, many times. They play each other during the regular season. They've seen each other twice.
And with that, we will stand and take off our hats and have the national anthem. We'll have more of our quick pregame. And we are almost set for today's game here, and we got the O'Day Fighting Irish in their maroon shorts, white jerseys, Seattle Prep blue jerseys with white numbers, white shorts. And Steve, we have seen all kinds of lacrosse games this afternoon, starting off with the 3A championship early this morning. And we've seen high-scoring games. We've seen some low-scoring games. The last game, the 1A, 2A, defensive battle, and that Vashon Island came up just short to, won and defeated Liberty by a score of 4-3.
Right.
And prior to that, we had Eastlake and Skyline, and it was a high-scoring affair, 13-12. The Skyline coming up the victor.
Yeah, one goal game between them again.
And, it's coming right down to the wire. And I got to say, this is the most lacrosse I have seen, and I am a convert. I really enjoy this sport. So if you are just tuning in, kind of curious to lacrosse, you're going to enjoy it. These are two, maybe a couple of the best teams in the state in the high school level, private schools, O'Day and Seattle Prep. What are you expecting here from these teams here, Steve?
So both of these teams are coached extremely well. Both of these teams have very balanced offenses. Both of these teams are fast-paced. Both of these teams have an excellent defense. And the biggest thing is they know each other really well. There's no secrets between these guys. They've seen each other a ton of times. The scales are only tipped in a couple different ways. O'Dea and Seattle Prep have met twice this year, and Seattle Prep has fallen to them twice. So O'Dea has had their number each one of those games. But as you know, the championship is a very different thing. It's like a whole new season. What O'Dea has to deal with is they have to deal with that famous Seattle Prep 10-man ride. And if Seattle Prep can execute that 10-man ride, it's going to make it really difficult for O'Dea to transition the ball and control the ball. But the whole key to this game for everyone is execution. Both coaches said it's all about execution. We know each other too well. It's who's going to execute better.
And just quickly, give us an idea what that 10-man ride is.
So what a 10-man ride is when you get the goalie involved as well, and so you get every player on the field covering another player, and they need to get into it quickly so they can try to stop every single pass that they could possibly have on the transition. And to break a 10-man ride is you don't run with the ball, you pass the ball as fast as you possibly can before they can get into that 10-man ride.
All right, let's take a look. Goalkeepers have been key in every game we have seen this afternoon or today. Let's take a look at these two teams' goalkeepers, Steve.
And just like we talked about with offense and defense and everything else, we have Lewis Schrock, number 1 from Seattle Prep. He's got a 61% save percentage coming into this season. And then we have Drew Chapman, number 7 for O'Dea. He's got a 60% save percentage. They're very evenly matched. The biggest difference is that Drew Chapman has a record of 8-1, and Lewis has got 3 losses on the season, but 2 of those losses have come to O'Dea or come from O'Dea.
All right, we are about set for the face-off, and we wanted to see it's going to be number is that a 25 for O'Dea. Landon Johnson facing off for O'Dea.
So that's a little bit of switch up by Coach Drew Schneider. That's not one of their normal face-off guys. So let's see what trick Coach Drew Schneider has up his sleeve for this.
Coach Drew Schneider, a young fella in his 20s, but he's plays in the professional leagues of lacrosse.
Local boy, went to Denver University, had a fantastic career, and then went into professional lacrosse. He's going to play this summer for the inaugural season of the Premier Lacrosse League Whip Snakes. It's a player-owned league. It's a new league that's started by Paul Rabel and his ownership group. It should be a fun time. Their first games are going to be in a couple weekends in Baltimore.
All right, coming up with Ryan Day. Yeah, well, had a loose ball, and now we've got a penalty. And it's going to be against O'Dea. So, Seattle Prep will start it off. Matthew Layton, number 3, bringing it down the right-hand side. He puts on a sprint of speed. Does a little stick dodge, now passes it back out on top of the crease, and pass one wide and goes out of bounds. And as we've seen every game today, as first few minutes have maybe been some jitters.
But Perry, I think for the first time today, sun may have actually been a factor on that pass because the sun is right into their faces on the sidelines.
Now O'Dea misses a pass, and coming up with it is going to be Henry Pell for the Panthers, and he brings it upfield, gets it over midfield, and takes a whack over the shoulder. No whistle, and ball gets loose. Good check then. Now we've got whistle blowing. Almost looked like a tomahawk chop there with that stick.
So the O'Dea was trying to run an automatic start, and the referees, that wasn't an automatic start with that change of possession, so they needed to come back to set and go off a whistle.
Now here comes O'Dea. They bring it around. Axel Amon. Left alley, brings it down on top to Lumpkin. Lumpkin over to Henninger. Back over to Amon. Back in the X box, right behind the goal. The X. And bringing it back out is Luke. Back out to Henninger. And now here comes O'Dea. Lumpkin running into the goal, trying to pass it over, or was that a shot? Either case, it's wide.
That was a shot, and it was backed up by the goalie. No one there to back the ball up, so the ball changes possession.
So here comes Seattle Prep. And we want to thank all our veterans in this Memorial Day weekend. Hope you are enjoying the broadcast. There's a pass out of bounds. Remind everybody to be driving safely on this Memorial Day weekend. But again, thank you for all the veterans who've given so much for us to be able to sit here on a Saturday afternoon and enjoy lacrosse.
So, Perry, just like we saw in the first 3 games, I think you're right. I think the jitters are prevalent, and they need to just move the ball around. They need to settle. They've both been here before.
Dylan Vida has it in the alley now, brings it up across. And there is just a rocketed shot. Holy moly. That was a rocketed shot by Ben Luke, and wish you could get a speed gun on that velocity he had on that ball. It went over the goal. O'Day will still possess it. Bringing it down is going to be Avery Butte-Porter. He's getting checked hard. Avery, he's a good-sized young man. Passes it in the center, gets knocked loose. And coming up with it is going to be Henninger for the Irish. He gets it into Avery. Get out over to Luke. Luke takes a couple of checks across the wrist. Now he's going to bring it behind the goal. Giving him pressure is Henry Pell on the defense. Pell keeping his stick active. Gets the pass off to Henninger. Henninger does a little zig and zag and puts a shot in right to the goalie of Seattle Prep. And that goes right in the hands of Schrock.
So they're all over Henninger on that one. He wasn't able to get anything on it. Real easy for goalie Schrock to pick that up.
Seattle Prep Panthers come down quickly, but errant pass gets picked up by Liam Kilton. Liam bringing it down. And now he's going to hand it on off to Henninger. Henninger, good speed, goes out left-hand side over to Amon. Back to number 23, Avery Butte-Porter. Avery back out to Amon. Out on top. They'll get it back out to Lumpkin. Lumpkin does a little zig and a zag, gives a dodge, puts a shot in, and it's up and good. Little stick dodge, wasn't it that time? Right to left, and just opening up enough to get the bounce shot in off the turf and into the net.
So, Perry, what they call that is you just call it a speed dodge, and so they just use sheer power on the run, and you're just trying to basically leave your defender in the dust. And so he was able to start with a speed dodge and then switch hands from his right to his left and did a nice bounce shot catching the top off corner.
So now it will be a face-off. 1-0 are scored. Just getting underway here. 7:56 left to go in the first period. And we got Ryan Day and Landon Johnson for O'Day. It's amazing that sun comes out and it gets warm here in a hurry. I'm shirt sleeves again and feeling comfortable. And Seattle Prep's going to control the faceoff. Day bringing it down the right-hand side. Up the alley, and then he cuts it in. Goes it across, and there's a shot. It's up and good. That one was just a beautiful pass to Thomas Buckner from Day. Buckner on the move, got that pass heading towards the crease, and he just sliced it in there.
So Day takes the face off, and he's coming down, and I thought that Day was going to just set it up, and he sees that there's open in the middle, so he cuts across the middle, and he finds Buckner with a crossing pass, and it's a tough pass, but Buckner handles it and buries it in the back of the goal.
So we're all tied up 1 apiece. So Ryan Day facing off, and this time we've got a different player in there for O'Day in the face-off. I see a 3. I can't see what the other number is on the back of the jersey. And it is a 35.
That should be Craddock.
Craddock.
That's the regular face-off guy, or one of them.
And ball bouncing around. Boy, a lot of physical play right there in the middle. Both teams just running into each other hard. And now finally a penalty. It's against O'Day. As you said, these teams have played each other. They know each other. Both coaches kind of seemed like, yeah, we've seen enough. We know exactly what they're going to do, and they're going to know what we're going to do.
Yeah, they've seen so much film on each other. I mean, hours and hours and hours of film, so they know each other like the back of their hands. So they either have to come up with some tricks that they've never seen before, or it's all about execution. And both coaches have said it's whoever executes better.
Hugh Porter up to Lumpkin. Lumpkin directs some traffic. And he does a little snudder trying to get that speed dodge going, then gets it on out over to Vida. Vida over to number 4, Henninger, who just rockets a shot. Man, he can put some velocity on that. Goes out of bounds, and it's wide, but it'll be O'Day's Fighting Irish ball. Here comes Butte Porter, Avery Butte Porter. Gets it from the X spot, turns around. I don't know, is that a shot or a pass, but it goes wide, and it's going to go right to Fighting Irish. Well, maybe it's on the ground. They're battling for it in the corner, and coming up with it's going to be Lumpkin. Lumpkin passes it on up. Top of the crease is Avery Butte Porter. He's going to give it over to Henninger. Henninger is going to hold on to it a little bit, and they're going to reset here. They'll go up to Vida. Vida back to Henninger. Henninger taking his time, rolling out to the right. And he's going to slowly bring it around into that X spot.
So, Perry, you're going to see O'Day runs a lot of, it looks like so far, they run a lot of 1v1 pick and rolls.
And applying that pick was that Avery Butte Porter. Avery, he's a pick. If he sets it, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
He's a good-sized young fella. And now he has the ball in the X spot. Trying to put some pressure on him is going to be Matthew Layton. Here comes Butte Porter. Turn the corner. Gets it up. Back out over to Amon. Ball gets knocked loose, and coming up with it is going to be the Irish. Ben Luke over to Henninger. Back to Lumpkin. Lumpkin on the right side. Zigzag does a spin. Gets it back over to Henninger. Back to Vida. Now give it back over to Henninger, and they'll reset. Henninger. Back to Vida. Ball gets loose. Loose ball, but Lumpkin's got some speed. He's going to win that foot race, but he's going to take some shots. Gets around the corner, and now pass up over to Henninger. Henninger to Brooke Avery. Back to Lumpkin. Lumpkin gets double teamed. Trying to find the open person. There's Avery. Avery over to Vida. Vida bounce shot. It's up and good. Dylan Vida.
Perry, just great patience on that. Great ball movement. Obviously, a lot of players had a chance to take a shot on that, but they had the patience. They wanted to take that extra little pass, and they found a perfect position. Vida takes advantage of it and finds the cage.
Just moving around, moving that ball well around the good ball movement. And it makes it a 2-1 ball game. 4:42 left to go in this first period. This is the private school state lacrosse championship. Preparatory. There we go. Thank you. Now, facing off will be Landon Johnson for O'Day against Ryan Day. Day maybe wins the battle, and getting it is going to be Griffin. Griffin bringing it down for Seattle Prep. Passes back, gets it over to Ryan Day. Day takes a shot. No, excuse me. That's going to be Layton takes a shot in the back. Then bring around a little zig and a zag and double team. Ball gets knocked loose. Good defense that time by the Irish. Now, the Irish possession. And bringing it down quickly is going to be Logan Johnson, and he gets the ball knocked loose from him. And he's going to say both players go to the turf, and ball still loose. Nope, it's going to be going to Dane Harmon coming up with it, and holding against Irish. O'Day, and it'll be Seattle Prep ball, and there's a timeout called. So we'll take a quick break. 3:56 left to go in the first period. Don't go anywhere. It's O'Day 2, Seattle Prep 1. This is the preparatory school state championship in lacrosse here on STSPN. And welcome back. 2-1 our score. O'Day leading Seattle Prep 2-1. 3:56 left to go in the first period, and it's going to be Logan Johnson with the balls for the O'Day Fighting Irish. He's going to pass it back to the goalie.
So this is a chance where you're going to see their 10-man ride, see if Seattle Prep and O'Day wants to break it by using speed.
O'Day Johnson.
Oh, headshot.
Takes a whack, and there's flags flying all over the place. They're playing on. Ball on the ground. Now they're blowing the whistle and getting a little chippy. There's another flag.
That's going to be an unsportsmanlike on number 11.
That's Jake Sipe. And that might have been a case of push me, shove you, and the shove you got called because there were a lot of chippiness going both sides there. But it's usually in most sports, it's the second act, the retaliatory act, that gets called.
So unless that was both on site, there's going to be 2 penalties, and they might be 2 men down.
And that could be tough. 2 players come out. Just 1 in the box.
Yeah, there you go. Now you have 2 serving.
Now you
so
get 2.
yeah, they're going to be 2. So Seattle Prep's going to be 2 man down, which is a very difficult man down to play as a defense.
Going to
So
say
it's
what?
6 on 4.
And so here comes O'Day.
And that unsportsmanlike should be unreleasable. One of the penalties, I believe, will be releasable on a goal, but the other one wouldn't be if it's an unsportsmanlike.
O'Day just passing it around the goal. They move it around. Give it to Lumpkin to Butte Porter. And there's a shot, and it's saved by the Seattle Prep goalie, Lewis Schrock. Ball loose, and players go to the turf. It'll be a penalty against O'Day, so Seattle Prep will have the possession. see if they could kill off this penalty time. And they bring it down, and quickly getting a shot is Larson Kronk. Excuse me, that is going to be Cole Dubicki. Dubicki zigs and zags. And
so it looks like one of the penalties came off. I don't know if it was just a 30-second penalty, but one of the penalties came out.
got a flag still on the field. I think they just forgot to pick it up. So Seattle Prep looking to tie this up. Be on that far side. That's Dubicki, Cole Dubicki. Or Dubicki? Dubicki, the case, bringing it up. Waiting for a play to develop.
I mean, Perry, those were the two fastest penalties I've ever seen. I'm not sure how those released so quickly because there wasn't a goal.
Dubicki, a little quick right left move or dodge, goes to the goal and then comes out and brings it behind the goal. Then X thought he was going to take a shot or at least make a pass, but he held on to it. Dubicki goes out and then right-hand side over to Nilsson. Nilsson turning the corner. He's got room, puts in a shot, and it's there. And did I get that number right? Number 16?
Jack Nelson, yep.
Jack Nelson. You see, he turned down the jacks, got into some open space, and rifled a shot.
Yeah, Jack Nelson turns and burns, one move, switches sides with his stick, and finds the far top corner. Beating Drew Chapman, O'Day's goalie.
We're all tied up 2 apiece. And now coming in to face off for O'Day is Justin Craddock. He's going to face Mr. Day.
So Craddock is one of their regular face-off guys, so I'm not sure exactly what Coach Drew Schneider was doing at the beginning of the game, but now they have their regular face-off guys in, and so you got face-off against face-off.
And they spin around trying to get control of it, and coming up with the Seattle Prep, and bringing it down is going to be Layton. Layton down the left-hand side, takes a shot in the middle, passes in the center, just gets by. Shields
so we
gets
got a
loose.
Flag. We're going to get an illegal push on O'Day.
And then bringing it down is going to be Nelson. Nelson passes in the center, and then there is the shot as Buckner. Did that go in?
No, he saved it, and then there's a second flag, so we might have had a slash right after the first flag.
So the officials,
cross check.
Officials are going to send some players to the sideline on these. Yes, looks like it.
Yeah, we definitely have some more players going in the sin bin.
Justin Young is heading to the sin bin. I guess that's appropriate here with Seattle Prep and O'Day. Both, I think, Catholic schools, aren't they?
I believe so.
And so we've got one player in the penalty box. Should be Seattle Prep possession. No, it's going to be O'Day possession. How's that to get the penalty called against you if you don't keep the possession?
No, Seattle Prep got the penalty called on them.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
And so we have Matthew. We have Matthew Layton, number 3 from Seattle Prep in the box.
That's what I'm looking at.
But so it's double penalty. So you got a penalty on O'Day too. So they're offsetting penalties. So basically, got a penalty on both. So we're still even at 5-on-5. So they're both one player down.
Dylan Vida coming in, and he's going to hold on to the ball. And Henninger coming in from the sideline. Again, in lacrosse, you can substitute on the run. Don't have to have a dead ball. And
now they're giving it back to Seattle Prep. I don't know what they're doing, Perry. And now it's going back to O'Day.
well, they're bringing it back all the way in the defensive end of O'Day. And Logan Johnson will have it now. He'll pass on up over to Vida. Vida turns on the Jets, brings it downfield over the midfield's line. Does a little zig and zag, and he's going to lose the ball, and there's going to be a trip, and flags get flying again. And And the O'Day fans not happy with that, but I think it's going to go against Seattle Prep.
Yeah, that's going to be a trip on number 6, Adam Ambuski.
So it's still 2 players in the penalty box and still 5-on-5, but it'll be O'Day possession.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Correction. I think it's Calder Griffin, number 2, going in the box. But
Oh,
yes.
so now, no, then it's going to be what?
So you're going to have two down for Seattle Prep and only 1 down for O'Day. So it's be 5-on-4.
So Vida. Top of the box. Looking to shoot. Nope, he'll go to the right-hand side. Over to Amon. Amon to Butte. Porter Avery. And he fishes it off over to Henry Brunix. Brunix turns around and rifles it into the net. It's a 3-2 ball game.
Great ball movement on that. Great possession. Brunix turns and fires, finds the back of the net.
How do you defend something like that?
You got to slide, and you got to slide quick, and you got to slide hard, and you have to have your stick up in his shooting space. If you don't, he's going to get it over your top shoulder, and you're also going to be screening the goalie, so it's very difficult for the goalie to pick up those kind of shots. It's kind of like a hook shot in basketball, but it's way faster.
Yes, it is. So Landon Johnson now on the face-off. He'll face Ryan Day.
So only one of those penalties released, and so we still have a player from each team in the penalty box, and so you're still going to have 5-on-5.
So the referee taking his time getting this ball set. And Day coming up with it. And he's putting on the Jets. He's making some distance. Looking to pass. He's going to send it back. And he gets it back to Dubicki. Dubicki's going to run it down the alley on the right-hand side. Keeping an eye on him is Logan Vida. Dubicki looking to turn it around. Oh, almost there. It's an out. It's a pass. He's trying to hit number 21, Larson Kronk, and then ball gets knocked loose.
Oh, and great
Seattle
back check
Prep
by
coming
Landon
back when
Johnson.
We get another foul. Flags flying. And who's this going to go against? This has been, officials been real quick to blow their whistle, and that's going to be the end of the first period. So O'Day leading this one 3-2 over Seattle Prep. This is the preparatory lacrosse state championship here on STSPN. Starfire Sports Stadium here in Tukwila, home for the state championship in the preparatory division. That means we are seeing the O'Dea Fighting Irish take on Seattle Prep, and it's been a very good ball game, 3-2. Referee's not afraid to blow a whistle early in this game, Steve.
So in Perry, they just threw their flags for the start of this next quarter, and so clearly something happened right at the half that they didn't have a chance to call, and so they're going to call it to start this next quarter.
Excuse me. So O'Dea, I see 2 players now in the penalty box.
For Seattle Prep.
For Seattle Prep.
They're going to be 2 players down again. So it'll be 6 on 4. And 1 in O'Dea. So it'll be 5 on 4. I'm having trouble keeping track of all this, Perry.
Now, lacrosse, it's not like basketball where you can only have so many fouls, and get enough fouls, you're out, does it?
No, they serve time. The only way that you can get kicked out of the game is if you get a major foul that is extremely unsportsmanlike or it's a danger to the other player. So there is a chance that you can get kicked out of the game for dangerous play, but other than that, you can get as many penalties as they're going to issue you.
So Seattle Prep. Seattle Prep down by a goal. Now they're down by a player, and here comes O'Dea. Moving the ball around. Lumpkin, right-hand side, and there is a shot. Good pass to Ben Luke. Luke just a left-handed shot. Threaded the needle and got it in. Makes it a 4-2 ball game.
And Perry, just exactly how Coach Drew Snyder wrote it up. When you're 5 on 4, ball movement just like they did. Finds a clean shot to the goal, 5-hole, back of the net.
Well, so far, O'Dea has taken advantage every time they've been a man up. They've turned that into a goal, and right now they've got a 2-goal lead, 4-2.
So again on that one of them was a releasable. The other 2 were not. So each team is still 1 player down, so there'll be 5 on 5 after this face-off.
This is the 4th game we have seen, and a lot more maybe tighter called game than we have seen in the first 3.
Yeah, definitely in the first 3 games, they let them play. There was a lot of physical play. There was a lot of things that could have been called fouls that they just let go. It does seem like they're playing, or they're calling it a little bit tighter in this particular game.
And could that be that these 2 teams have played each other so many times before they don't want this to get chippy early?
I mean, definitely the refs are trying to set a standard, and they're trying to set a precedent early to let these guys know that they're not going to get away with any shenanigans.
Here comes McCauley, and puts a pass, and it goes errant, goes out of bounds.
Seattle pass goes out of bounds. O'Dea with possession. Number 25, Landon Johnson.
Johnson will feed it back to his goalie, Chapman. Chapman passes it off. Good off to Lumpkin. Lumpkin showing good speed. He's going to get triple teamed right there at midfield. And gets hacked, gets through the defenders, goes over the right-hand side, gets it over to Luke. And it is going to be taken away by Seattle Prep. Good defensive play that time.
And we got another flag
Seattle
on the field.
And now Seattle Prep bringing it down is Henry Pill.
So we got a foul on O'Dea.
And here comes Seattle Prep on the right-hand side, and their pass is going to be deflected. And coming up with it maybe at the sideline. And there's a tackle. That was.
So they're going to be okay with that push, but we do have a flag far back on the field, and so there was a foul on O'Dea on the other side of the field. Looks like they're calling for a cross check.
That was a push on the sideline there.
That was it wasn't a foul push. It was a legal push, a legal cross check at the other end of the field on O'Dea. So it should be Seattle Prep's ball.
Okay, I was going to say in high school football, I'd call that an outstanding tackle.
So now again, we're 1 man down for Seattle Prep. We're 2 men down for O'Day, so we're going to have 5-on-4 the other way.
See if Seattle Prep can take advantage with a man up.
Harry, I don't remember the last time that either of these two teams played with a full complement of 6 players on offense.
It's been quite a while, and I think Coach of O'Day is going to call a timeout here, looking to see how Seattle Prep sets up. So we'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. It is O'Day 4, Seattle 2. This is State Championship Lacrosse here on STSPN. Starfire Sports Stadium in Tukwila, Washington. Tukwila kind of pressed in between SeaTac, Renton, and Seattle. Yeah, wonderful sports little stadium here. Soccer complex. Home of the Sounders where they train. So
And home of the rugby Seattle Seawolves. This is where they play their home games.
I did not know that. There's a sport I haven't called out. And now Seattle Prep. Oh, they pass it, and it goes out of bounds. And that's a big break for O'Day, being a man down, and that stops the ball. And their one of their players comes in. They still got 2 sitting in the penalty box. And the goalie out of the press takes a big hit. Ball gets loose.
There's a trip on the goalie.
And another hack. Ball moving back and around. And
so that's going to be a trip on Jack Nelson, number 16, on the goalie, Drew Chapman.
And can the goalie be sent into the penalty box?
No, it was a trip. It wasn't a trip on the goalie. It was a trip on number 16 from Seattle Prep.
Tripping Chapman, okay.
Yeah, tripping the goalie.
Seattle Prep penalty, 30 seconds.
So now, Seattle Prep's going to be down 2, O'Day's going to be down 2, and now we're 4-on-4.
As we said, this game called maybe a little tighter.
Perry, I swear that normally they play 6-on-6. That's how the game's supposed to go.
Is that how it's supposed to work? Well, we haven't seen it yet in this second period, and I think probably about 3 or 4 minutes ago into the first period, and the referee's liking the whistle. All right, here comes the O'Day, Henninger on that left alley. Sun just going behind the horizon, the shadows going away. Henninger goes left, now coming right, taking his time. Will pass off over to Amon. Back to Henninger, back to Amon, playing some catch midfield. Now here comes a Seattle Prep player. And here comes the...
So now we're back to 5-on-5.
Lumpkin comes back in. Each team has a player in the penalty box now. But we're evened up. From the backfield is Amon. Amon in the X box behind the goal. His little head dodge. Gets it off to Butte. Porter. And then back to Amon. Amon putting a shot up. And a great stop by Louis Schrock, goalie for the Seattle Prep Panthers. Now Panthers bring it downfield. And my goodness, I think we got all the players, all the teams have all their players. Here comes the Prep.
We do. We're back at full strength.
Prep. The Seattle Prep had it. Oh, right there was Jack Nelson. And good defensive check, knocks the ball loose, and here comes O'Day.
I thought the yellow was coming out one more time, Perry, but that one went away.
I think they might have lost it. Here comes O'Day, a little arcing pass, trying to find Luke. And ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to be Seattle Prep ball. 8:17 left to go in the half. 4-2 our score. And here comes Seattle Prep. And speedy Cole Dubicki. Long pass down, or he tried to put a shot in. And
yeah, the goalie was Chapman was out of the cage. They were doing a 10-man ride on Seattle Prep, and they saw open cage, but he couldn't put it on cage.
Dubicki passing it around. Losing on out. McCauley. McCauley up to Levenger. Levenger back over to Wathan. Over to McCauley. And now Levenger. Levenger passes it in the center, and there's a shot right there by Stockwell. Carson Stockwell plants it into the corner, and it's now 4-3. Good ball movement that time by Seattle Prep.
Perry, excellent ball movement that time. That's exactly how Coach draws it up. Coach Stearns loves to see that out of his players, especially coming out of all of those penalties, all of that downtime, to move the ball like that at full strength and to get a nice open look at the cage and to beat the goalie high.
So now it's a 1-point ball game. O'Day 4, Seattle Prep 3, and who's facing off for O'Day now? They've been rotating him in to go against Mr. Ryan Day of Seattle Prep. Day comes up with it, comes it up forward, goes the right-hand side over to Wathan, and ball gets back to Wathan. He's going to hold up and go the right-hand side over to Ortiz Jones. Jones brings it around behind the X, or in the X, the right spot right behind the goal. And trying to zig and zag, trying to feed it in, gets it into the crease. Ball loose, and nope, going to come up to the O'Day as a goalie. Chapman comes up with it.
So Seattle Prep was in the crease, but I don't even think the refs actually called in the crease because the ball was stopped by the goalie and they didn't see him fall in the crease. Now we have a slash on number 3.
And that was Matthew Layton trying to slow up Vida, Logan Vida. And ball gets knocked loose. Vida still has it. Ball on the ground, pushing and shoving, and now we hear the whistle. And we've seen more people in the penalty box in one half than we have in the first 3 games we did this today.
Yeah, there's been a lot of yellow on the field tonight.
And you can hear the fans. And I'm not sure what they called there. I don't see anybody heading to the penalty box.
I think he's talking to number 3. Number 3 should be in the penalty box for slashing.
Yep.
So probably 1 minute for slashing.
That'll be Matthew Layton. He will be in the penalty box. He takes a knee. So it's going to be O'Day possession. They get it on out over to Luke.
So it should be a releasable penalty. So if O'Day does score, the penalty releases.
They're moving the ball around the goal. Circling. And there's a shot wide open on that left side was Aiden Rubio.
Just nobody picked Rubio up. I don't know what they were doing. They were no communication, no talking. Nobody slid to the ball. And Rubio has an open look at the goal. He has a ton of goal to pick from to shoot it at.
You could just see that one happen. He was right. We were right behind in our angle to Rubio, and he had a wide open goal to shoot at. Just the goalie to stop him, and that's putting your goalie out in the island there.
Yeah, it almost happened in slow motion the way we were watching it.
5-3. O'Day now again with a 2-goal lead. But as I have seen today, a 2-goal lead is nothing.
No, and that's definitely Seattle Prep doesn't want to give goals like that up because both of these teams are going to play each other very tight. But a 1-2 goal lead with these guys is a big deal. and they don't want to give up easy goals like that.
All right, I can't see who's going to be facing off this time for O'Day, but again, Ryan Day gets it for a moment, but Seattle Prep comes up with it. O'Day comes up with the loose ball. Johnson going down, and now we've got players hitting the turf, and referees blow the whistle to stop play. And we have a timeout called in the action. So we'll take a break. We are at O'Day, or O'Day leads at 5 over Seattle Prep, who has 3. This is state championship lacrosse right here at STSPN. And welcome back. We are at Starfire Sports Stadium here in Tukwila. It is the state championship boys lacrosse game. O'Day leads at 5-3 over Seattle Prep. Seattle Prep has the possession, and they're going to bring it down. They get it off to Dubicki. Dubicki has control. I don't see anybody in the penalty box now. Dubicki does a little right to left dodge. Now a spin move. Rolls out to his right.
Perry, are you sure nobody's in the penalty box right now?
I don't see anybody, but they could be just getting some water or something.
I think you're right. I think it's back to full strength again.
Clark. McCall has it. McCall, left-hand side to Dubicki. Dubicki works off a screen, gets it in the middle, puts a shot up, and it's going to be wide, but it's going to be Seattle Prep possession. They'll pass it in. They get it inside to McCall. McCall back out over to Wathen, Lucas Wathen. Wathen brings it up the right-hand side, loses the ball. Ball rolling around, coming up with it. Oh, and a shot and a good save by O'Day's goalie, Drew Chapman. I didn't see who picked it up for Seattle Prep. It was a loose ball, and he just turned around and shot. But Chapman right there for the stop.
Great job to put that shot on cage, but Drew Chapman saw it the whole way, going 5-hole, makes a great low save.
Ball running loose on the turf. And there's a scrum, and there's the whistle. It's going to be O'Day penalty. So Seattle Prep will keep the possession. They go to the right-hand side to Wathen. Then they go to McCall. Breaks around the right-hand side, and he's going to bring it around the goal. And now cuts it in, trying to get it into the crease. Goes one leg, goes right, turns around, puts it in. Oh, and he took a shot. Ooh. Just as he shot it, he got a stick in a bad place. Now there's a penalty flag thrown. And
so they're going to give him a penalty for a high cross check on that.
And that young man.
Or he might get a unsportsmanlike for late hit after the play.
McCall Going to be looked at by the
number 23, Clark McNall.
So it's 5-4. The call going to be looked at by the trainers. He's walking off on his own power, so hopefully that wasn't as painful as it looked from up here.
I think they just got him up underneath the chin and knocked his helmet off, and so
Okay.
got his bell rung a little bit, and so got to do some concussion protocol, make sure he's okay on the sidelines.
All right. That's not good, but I thought he got it much lower. So now we got 5-4 on the scoreboard, but they're not looking to space off here. What's the penalty?
Yeah, so the penalty was
That's right.
after the goal, and so they're going to award the ball back to Seattle Prep because the penalty's on O'Day.
And
So we have number 10 in the penalty box for O'Day.
That's Kilton, Liam Kilton. So now it's O'Day a man short. Layton bringing it down for Seattle Prep.
So now with Seattle Prep's man up, they're looking to get the equalizer and put this into a tie game.
Dubicki gets it on out, up to Griffin. Excuse me, that's not Griffin, that's 12. That's Ortiz Jones. Ortiz Jones has it, gets the turf, takes a check, and good defense that time by Nick Blossom, knocking it loose. And here comes O'Day, and they're going to be killing some time penalty, and there's another blowing whistle, and O'Day's going to call a timeout. 3:18 left to go in a half. Don't go anywhere. It's 5-4. O'Day leading by 1. And I'm sorry, Steve, you got something?
Great check by Nick Blossom there. Maury Blossom, Nick's granddad's watching him from home. Maury, did you see that check?
That's right. No, where was home? Where's Maury watching us from? We don't know. But hey, Maury, we want to say thanks to the Blossom family for letting us know that Maury's at home. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. So why don't we keep it right here since we talked about that. It's 5-4. O'Day up by a goal. You're the coaches.
Box anymore.
No, I don't see anybody, and I think we're both teams are at full strength. But I got to say, from about halfway through the first period till now, nope, we got one. O'Day still a player down. I was going to say from about halfway through the first period on, I don't think we've had each team with both players on the field for very long. So here comes O'Day. O'Day moving it down. Bringing it down on the right alley is Vida. Vida taking his time. Chasing him down is Mbuski.
And now they're back to full strength.
Coming in is Lumpkin. Lumpkin adds some speed there on the wing. Goes way back to the X. To Butte. Porter Avery. Avery Porter. Let's call him Avery Porter. He's got too many names.
We'll just be on a first name basis. We'll call him Avery.
Avery, that sounds good. O'Day passing around the circle. They get it to Lumpkin. Lumpkin launches a shot. It's going to be wide. It's going to go out of bounds.
I don't think Lumpkin can get anything on that because I think Matthew Layton was up in his hands with his stick, and Lumpkin tried to wind up and power one in, but Layton just had his stick right in his hands.
We've seen Lumpkin in the warm-ups really launch some Rockets in practice. Here comes Moday, and they shoot, and that is going to be in. And that's Ben Luke just rocketed in a left-handed shot, and again over the left shoulder of Louis Schrock for the goal, and O'Day goes up by 2 with 1:47 left to go in the half.
Ben Luke, number 22, just comes around the corner, gets a left-hand side whip, and just absolutely blisters the top corner, beating Louis Schrock, goalie for the Seattle Prep Panthers.
All right, here comes the face-off. And Ryan Day facing off for Seattle Prep, and I can't see who's doing it for O'Day on this face-off. They've been alternating. And ball squirts out. And it's going to be picked up by O'Day. And coming up with it is Nick Blossom.
There you go, Maury. There's another one. So that face-off was Aiden Shute. That's their other regular face-off guy. We haven't seen him yet tonight, I don't believe, number 42. But that is one of their normal regular face-off guys as well.
All right, here comes O'Day. They're up by 2. They'd love to make it 3 as they go into the half. Avery goes right-hand side. Moving out to Lumpkin. Back out on top to Vida. Vida. Back over to Henninger. Henninger just moving the ball around the circle of the goal. Lumpkin to Vida to Henninger. Now back the other direction. .38 seconds left to go in the half. They're looking for last shot. Henninger, the right side, goes bound into the X to Avery. The Lumpkin. Lumpkin runs into Seattle Prep defender. Back up to Henninger. Henninger to
just
Avery.
an absolute fantastic look that time. Just a fantastic feed from Avery Butte Porter, number 23. Finding Axel Amon right in the middle, all by his lonesome. Perfect turn and shot, back of the net.
He just rocketed that in, and again, it's in. That was just a nice pass. Good ball movement that time by O'Day. They were just very patient in crisp passes, and then you knew they were going to score or try to score. Final few seconds, and Avery doing a great job getting that pass in.
Yeah, great job working the clock the last minute. Very patient, finding the right place and the right shot.
7-4 our score now. O'Day up by 3. And here comes Seattle Prep.
Aiden Shute gets the face off.
And ball gets loose from the goalie. Ball on the turf. And there's just a mauling down there.
That
Battling
should have been
for
withholding on the goalie. The goalie
Jack
can't
Nelson.
clamp the ball like that out in the field.
And long pass down to Avery, and it's going to go out of bounds. And that's going to do it for the half. So at the half, O'Day leads it 7-4 over Seattle Prep. And we'll come back and, well, actually, before we leave, I'm going to ask you real quick, Steve, quick thoughts on that first half.
You know, I think we saw exactly what we were expecting to see from them, but I'm a little bit surprised that O'Day kind of turned it on right there at the end, and they've stretched out the lead, to 3 goals, and they're leading 7-4. That's exactly what Seattle Prep does not want to see. These two teams are so evenly matched that getting any sort of lead on each other is very difficult to come back from, because they pretty much are matched even across the board in every single category. And so Coach Rich Stearns really needs to write something up special for these Seattle Prep Panthers at halftime to see if they can come out and put a couple scores in quick and get this game back close.
Well, we in 2 of our 3 games so far, we've seen the team down at halftime come back and go ahead And I think Eastlake was down by 3, actually down by 4 at one time, and come back to win. And we saw in our 1A, 2A, it was Liberty over Vashon Island, coming from behind down by 2 goals, and they came on to win. So don't go anywhere. It's halftime here at Starfire Sports Stadium in Tukwila. It is the Boys State Lacrosse Championship right here on STSPN. And we are going to set to start the second half here at Starfire Sports Stadium. This is the Boys Lacrosse State Championship. O'Day taking on Seattle Prep. I'm Perry Williams along with Steve Sawyer, and you're watching on STSPN. And Steve, 7-4 our score, but 3-goal lead is not anything you want to bank on right now.
No, and I mean, Seattle Prep had a perfect opportunity. We were talking about it at halftime where they were man up. They were only down by 1 goal. They were looking at the equalizer. We got a very timely check from Nick Blossom, and then they go on a 2-goal run and go up 3 goals. But this game is made, it's a game of runs. And so Seattle Prep can easily go on a run and even us right back up.
All right, here is the face-off to start the second half. Ball popped loose, and surprisingly enough, the referee's going to call a whistle or blow a penalty. Legal procedure on O'Day, so it'll be Seattle Prep possession, and they would like to score a goal here and get right back into this ball game. They bring it down. Griffin moving on over to Layton. Layton to left and right, dodge. Gets out in front of the crease. Looked like he was going to set to shoot. Got deflected.
He just passed that off of number 9's helmet.
Ouch. Again, those lacrosse balls are heavy, about the size of a baseball, and they're stout. Jack Nilsson coming in. Line in the X, turning around, looking to put a shot up, won't do it. Then getting it out to getting it out to Layton. Now they pass back out over to McCall. McCall looking to find the room, getting it close to the crease. He'll pass it out on top, and the pass goes wide. And this could, saving it. And a big save by Lucas Wathan for Seattle Prep. Now he's going to pull it back, and Seattle Prep's going to reset the offense. Now, as a coach, can you yell in plays from the sideline? Is that doable?
Oh, yeah, definitely, and they're doing it the entire game.
And there's a shot by Wathan just off the goalkeeper, Chapman.
Usually in lacrosse, they're not calling plays or specific plays. They already have those pre-set up. What they're calling offensive or defensive sets, and they're telling them what set that they want them in, and then the players know what they're supposed to be running when they're in those sets.
Well, there's a shot that deflected, and now here comes O'Day. O'Day quickly bringing it down. They shoot, and there's a great save by Schrock, goalkeeper of Seattle Prep. And they move it down quickly. And Layton giving a speed. He may have an angle to get a shot off, and he passes it, trying to pass it up into the center. And coming up with it is Nilsson. Nilsson trying to put a shot up. Goalie goes to the ground, ball rolling around. Now the referee's going to blow a whistle, and Chapman went to the turf hard.
Perry, that was absolutely crazy because on that shot, it hit the top pipe and it bounced straight down to the turf. And it looked like it almost might have went behind the goal line, but it didn't. It stayed just outside of the goal.
So far, O'Day taking advantage of maybe some good bounces. O'Day, long pass downfield. But right there to break it up is going to be Lewis Schrock. Out of the goalie keeper, comes out way out high. And that ball gets loose from Wathan. And it's getting double teamed is
So we're getting
Logan
a flag.
Johnson.
It's like a slash. And we have a broken stick on the field on this other end.
Logan Johnson looked like a pinball in a machine. He was just bouncing in between 2 Seattle Prep Panthers before he hit the turf. I got to say, I did not know a whole lot about lacrosse prior to today. Not that I'm an expert now, but I'm a convert.
Perry, what are you talking about? After 4 championship games, with the 4th almost being over, you have to be an expert.
Not quite, not quite. But I definitely have enjoyed today. This has been a lot of fun, a lot of great lacrosse. Now it's going to be O'Day ball. And believe it or not, Mr. Matthew Layton going to sit in the penalty box. So,
And they just threw another penalty flag.
Seattle Prep a man down, and O'Day's done a good job of taking advantage of being a man up.
So now we have another penalty. As soon as this play ends or changes possession, there's going to be another penalty on Seattle Prep.
O'Day moving the ball around. Get into Vida, puts a shot up, and it's going to be wide. And now,
so we're going to call the other penalty. Looks like it's the sideline referee calling the penalty on Seattle Prep for doing something.
And
maybe they didn't like what Rich Stern was saying on the sidelines.
And coach looking fairly animated there on the sideline. So
up that offside, so it looks like they were getting mixed up on a sub out of the box.
all right, so O'Day will come at it again. Again, they moving around the Seattle Prep goal. They get it back to Avery. Avery, cross court, out on top, and there's a shot. It's high and wide. They got that one to Vida, and Vida just rocketed it, but over the goal. And still O'Day possession. Avery, long pass, and this one is going to go out of bounds. And this penalty must have been a fairly substantial one, because still sitting on the penalty box is Layton. O'Day's ball? I missed something there. O'Day.
It was a bad pass, and it was stolen by O'Day, and so they got possession back right away. Now the penalty's released.
So now Seattle Prep is fully staffed. Vida.
Oh, we have too many men on the field.
Now we got a flag thrown.
So Seattle Prep had 7 guys on the field.
They get to Avery. Avery. Over to Vida. Over to Lumpkin. Vida. The pass. He's going to go right-hand side over to Henninger. And there is a long pass back to the X. Behind the goal, and there's a pass, hits the turf, but then right out top to Vida. Vida back over to Luke. And it's going to be wide and out of bounds. Wide ball, and it'll still be O'Day possession. O'Day up by 3, and maybe not moving to that, get that ball back in as maybe as fast as you would if you're down by 3.
So Seattle Prep had too many guys on the field that last time. They had an extra man down on offense for 7 players, and so they're going to have somebody serve, and so they have an in-home person serve that penalty, and they will go man down once again.
So this is a 30-second penalty?
It should be just a 30-second penalty, yeah, and it should definitely be releasable.
All right, Avery. And being releasable, that means next dead ball.
No, just on a goal.
Oh,
just
on a goal, okay. So Avery in the X, or the spot behind the goal. Talking with the referee. 4 referees on the field in lacrosse. Is that just a championship where you have 4, or is there 3 in a regular season game?
So it's usually 2 in regular season games. Sometimes for extra special games, you'll have 3. You definitely have 3 on the field in championships. And then in championships, you always have a side judge as well, or a table referee, or a table judge is what you call it. So they're watching the subbing on the side of the field and making sure that they don't release too early out of the penalty box.
Seattle Prep with a penalty, 30 seconds offside, followed by an illegal substitution.
So O'Day has a player in the penalty box, and I missed why that was.
Seattle Prep had too many men on the field, and then O'Day had an illegal substitution. So now it's offsetting penalties. And again, we're man down for both teams.
Dubecki moving it for Seattle Prep. Does a little left to right dodge. He's going to bring it up. Passing on off to McCall. McCall has an open goal for a second, or at least an open shot, and then, passes it over to Dubecki, who tries to rifle it in, and it was deflected by O'Day defenseman. Didn't see who got the deflection.
Oh, I think Dubecki caught the top of the cage on that one. He just hit top pipe.
So it's going to be O'Day ball, and there's a pass that goes wide, and Seattle Prep coming up with it. Coming up with it's going to be Pell. Pell, defenseman, bringing it down, and he's going to give it back over to Wathen. Wathen will give it back to Dubecki. Dubecki passes the left-hand side to McCall. McCall.
And so both penalties have expired, and we are back to even strength.
For now.
For now.
And we have McCall on that far left side. Gotta wonder if these referees are getting paid by the foul. And now a little spin move. Dodge does a shot. Oh, it's wide. It goes out of bounds, and it should be still Seattle Prep possession. 5:48 left to go in this third period. 7-4 our score. And O'Day steals the ball away. A little long pass gets knocked loose. Dubecki battling for it for Seattle Prep. And then Wathen coming up with it. And he gets tackled. Excuse me, that was Pell coming up with it. And he passes it down to Wathen. And Wathen has it behind O'Day's goal. He's being chased hard by Varela. That'll zig and zag, and now there's a pass out, and Seattle Prep's going to reset this. Give it to McCall. McCall.
Perry, Seattle Prep's got to settle down. They got to run their plays. They got to find those cutters.
And there's Dubecki in his shot, and just wide.
Seattle Prep shot goes wide, backed up by number 17, Cole Dubecki.
So Dubecki will bring it in for Seattle Prep. Behind the goal. Passes it on up, and there's a shot, and again this one either deflected or wide. No, right into the
save
by Chapman. Seattle Prep went to the same play twice in a row. That time Chapman ready for it. There comes Seattle or O'Day, and they get checked. And Pell coming away with the steal. No, it's going to be Wathen, and Wathen just clotheslined. Ball
just
running loose.
Way up too high on Pell. He got up in the helmet, which is crazy because Pell is super tall. I don't know how he even got up there.
I'm sure it was by accident. And now they're going to.
So now we have a penalty on O'Day, but Seattle Prep has the ball, and they will not call the penalty until Seattle Prep loses possession or scores a goal.
So Dubecki bringing it down the left alley. Dubecki gets a little bit of room. Now he brings it around behind the O'Day goal. Dubecki has got a lot of good speed. A little zig and a zag. Gets it up into the center, and it's going to blow that whistle and figure out who that penalty was on.
So O'Day was able to knock that down defensively, and so that's going to set the penalty.
It's going to be real important for Seattle Prep to take advantage of being a man up here and going to the penalty box. Can't see what number that is going there. 10. And that would be Liam Kilton.
He spent some time in there tonight.
Yeah?
He's seen it before.
What did you call that? The
sin
box?
bin.
Sin bin, that's it. Illegal body checks what he's charged with, and is that a 2-minute penalty?
No, that should just be a 1-minute penalty as well. That might have been 30-second.
So see if Seattle Prep can take advantage being a man up. Dubecki. Right-hand side of McCall. Ortiz-Jones. They move the ball around. Get it on up over to Nilsson. Moving that ball around the arc. Now getting pressured is Layton. Looking to find Sarum. There's a shot. It goes wide. And it is going to be Seattle Prep ball. Wathan doing the shot goes wide.
That was all Matt Lathan can do to get out of the way of that shot, being back at X, backing it up.
Ortiz-Jones passes, and it's going to be wide, goes to O'Day, but then right into the stick of Levenger. And there is a blistering shot, but right there's Drew Chapman to save it. That was a rocket, and now here comes O'Day, and they're back to full. Well, no, they're not. There's still a man down, but they're going to kill the penalty time.
But Perry, Drew Chapman is having an absolutely amazing game, stuffing goal after goal after goal.
I'm surprised that didn't put a hole in his net or in his stick. Now, again, just running around is Axel Amond and just treating some penalty time up. Dylan Vida now has it for the Fighting Irish. See the shadows just starting to form on the field as the lights are on and getting a little darker.
So O'Day's just trying to kill the penalty so they can get back to even strength.
2 minutes left to go, less than 2 minutes left to go in this third period. 7-4 our score. And Amond brings it up on the right-hand side. And again, just killing the penalty. Seattle Prep doesn't look to be worried about pressuring the ball at all. And
now the penalty is released.
Penalty is released. Minute 30 left to go in the third period.
So great penalty kill by O'Day on that one. Seattle Prep again was not able to take advantage of the man up.
There comes O'Day moving the ball around. Lumpkin. Has it? No, he doesn't. I'm sorry. Gets it out over to Luke. To Vida. To Luke. They pass it back to the X. Back out to Amon. O'Day gets her passes go faster and faster, and all of a sudden they set up to shoot. They get out to Henninger. Henninger on the right wing, back on out to Amon. Amon to Henninger, and he puts a shot up, and it's up and in. You can almost see that happening before it did.
Just great ball movement again, Perry. O'Day just getting the defense back on their heels. Seattle Prep doesn't know what to do with it. They're not sliding quick enough, and they get a perfect shot, perfect look at the goal. Finds the back of the net once again.
You just kind of could see it. They kind of increased the tempo of the passes, and ball moving around quicker and quicker and quicker. And then again, right there was Henninger for the shot. Now, facing off will be number 42. What's the strategy in changing these face-off players for O'Day?
Just trying to switch it up on Ryan. They figure, Coach Drew Schneider is figuring that you can't ever get used to the same. If you have the same guy out there all the time, you can start get used to him, and you can start to key on his tells or how he faces off. And when you keep throwing a different guy out there, they don't have time to figure that out. And it hasn't shown much. I mean, it hasn't really changed the possessions all that much because not a lot of face-off guys are taking the ball just to themselves. It's usually going to one of the wing players.
And this one goes back, and Dubecki picks it up for Seattle Prep. Seattle Prep now needs a goal here to get back into this. Dubecki, little right and left break, and he puts a bounce shot up, and it's up back and in. 8-5. And if you're going to get back in the ball game, nothing like a quick 5-second goal, huh?
No, and Dubecki, he was going to pull that ball out, and he saw that nobody was coming out on him, so he turns back around, faces the goal, and just does an absolute ground burner, laser, right past Chapman, the goalie for O'Day. That's exactly what Seattle Prep needs to get back into this game. They need a couple more of those, and they're right back into it.
And we have seen it today, believe me, in the games prior to today. 17 seconds left to go in the third period. 8-5 our score. O'Day leading. And now again it's number 42, Aiden Shute, facing off for O'Day against Ryan Day. And there is the face-off. Let's see where the ball goes. It's going to be on the turf. Picking it up is O'Day. And there is a shot, and it's up and good. Axel Amon got the pass, and Amon just rocketed into the goal.
So just like Seattle Prep goes, gets the ball, takes it right down, scores immediately. What do you know? O'Day comes and does the exact same thing.
9-5 our score. This was the score in our Eastlake Skyline game, and Eastlake came back and scored 7 unanswered goals to take a 2-goal lead in the second or half of that game. Now here's the face-off. 6 seconds left to go in this third period. And ball loose, and coming up with it is Seattle Prep. And that is going to do it for the third period. So after 3 periods of play, it is O'Day 9, Seattle Prep 5. This is State Championship Lacrosse right here on STSPN. Starting to get runny. And welcome back. Final period of play here at Starfire Sports Stadium. This is the state championship lacrosse game, boys lacrosse game. O'Day leading Seattle Prep 9-5. Steve, if you're Seattle Prep, what are you telling your team?
Tell them, guys, we need to be a lot more aggressive on the ground balls. We need to be a lot more aggressive on the passes, and we need to make everything count. This is time to execute. This is do or die right now.
And here's the face-off, and coming up with it is going to be O'Day. Day puts it on the ground a couple of times, but
face-off control by number 14, Nick Blossom.
And now here comes O'Day, and that's Vida. You get it over to Avery. Avery passes it back out. Right-hand side of Henninger. Plenty of time for Seattle Prep to get in, but they can't let this mountain get any steeper for them. They're down by 4 goals. O'Day moving the ball around. Luke
Yeah, possessions
Vida?
in this last quarter, Perry, get more and more important. And Seattle Prep, they don't need to push out on them right now, but they need to play very clean. They need to play very tight, and they have to have very crisp and deliberate slides on the offensive players for O'Day.
O'Day just does a really good job of moving that ball around the goal. Now, here comes Henninger. Looks like he's going to shoot, but no, he won't. He'll go right-hand side over to Luke. Back to Vida, to Henninger. To Vida. Vida does a little zig and zag, and he puts it up in the left-hand corner. And it's up and in.
Perry, that's not a dagger, but that one hurts.
Yes. 10-5. And it almost is like O'Day, when they're passing around, almost hypnotizes the defense there for a little bit. And next thing you know, instead of a pass, here comes a rocketed shot. And now these face-offs become all the more critical for Seattle Prep to get that possession. It's down by 5, 10-5, 10-18 left to go in this ball game. This is the preparatory state championship lacrosse. Fourth game of for today. And ball comes out, and O'Day wins it again. And coming away with it is Snyder for O'Day. Ball goes out of bounds. Dubicki bringing it down. Dubicki just gets mugged.
Oh,
whoa!
That would have been a hold.
There is a
and that's
cheap
definitely
shot.
a cross-check high.
Ball one spot, and you can hear the crowd. They didn't like it as
He may
Kenny
get
Snyder
unsportsmanlike on that.
just took out Colton Dubicki, gave him a shot to the head. And crowd didn't like it. Dubicki gets up real quick. I think he's afraid somebody's going to want to come and look at him and give him that concussion protocol. So he took a pretty big blow. And
he did lay out on the field, so he may have to come off the field for at least a short period.
And now you're right, he does. So Dubicki's out. 2 flags on the field. They haven't picked him up yet. This has not been a fast-paced game. This game started at 7:30, and we are now at 9:05. Probably the longest of the 4 we've done today. So they've got...
So that penalty on O'Day is going to be non-releasable. That's going to be locked in.
So it's an opportunity, a 2-minute penalty, and this is going to be a time for Seattle Prep. They're going to be a man up. They're going to need to take advantage of this opportunity to get 1, if not maybe 2 goals.
No, Perry,
quickly.
Seattle Prep has somebody in the box too, so they're even strength, but they're even strength 5-on-5.
Oh, that was... Now one of the coaches are going to call a timeout. I think that was the retaliatory shot to the one Dubicki took.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, case of push me and shove you, and both of them get called.
Well, I think what you had is you had a hold on Dubicki originally.
Yeah.
And they called a flag on that, and then somebody came and laid out Dubicki. And so the penalty against Dubicki should be non-releasable.
Okay.
And then Dubicki's, which just is a hold, should just be a releasable penalty. And it should be a shorter penalty.
Well, you've got it discussed. You have it down to exactly what should go on. You should pipe in the referees exactly what should be happening here, because they're still talking about it. And so it's going to be O'Day possession. It is. And on the right-hand side is Luke. Luke gets up to Vida. Up to Lumpkin. Lumpkin directs traffic. He comes in. Does a little left-right dodge and puts a shot up, and it's going to be way wide, goes out of bounds.
Yeah, nice back check that time by Calder Griffin.
Well, a great way to kill a penalty if you've got possession, which Avery now has it for O'Day. Gets it on up to Lumpkin. Now, Seattle Prep a man up. They're chasing Lumpkin. Lumpkin's got really good speed. He takes a couple of hacks, turns around, puts a shot up. It's going to be wide, and it's going to go out of bounds, and it should be Seattle Prep ball. And a little slick on that concrete with the rain today, and it sliding. This is a O'Day player. Here comes Seattle Prep. They're going to be up by one player here probably for the next 45 seconds or so. Bringing it down is going to be McCall. McCall in the corner. Does a little zig and a zag. Goes behind the net. Getting pressured. Gets it on up to Wathen. Wathen moves it over to Layton. And on the right-hand side to Levenger. Back over to McCall. McCall out left to Wathen. To McCall. McCall rockets a shot. It's going to be wide. It's going to be Seattle Prep, though, possession. And here they come quickly to give him to Wathen. Wathen tries to get a shot off, but it's going to be blocked by Nick Blossom. Hear that, Maury? So here comes O'Day quickly bringing it down. And we are going to have a timeout. And I think we're having a timeout. They blew a whistle.
Yeah, so it looks like with possession, Coach Drew Snyder called timeout and got a timeout for O'Day.
So we'll take a quick break. 7:58 left to go in this ball game. It is O'Day 10, Seattle Prep 5. This is Championship Lacrosse here on STSPN. And welcome back. 7:58 left to go in this game, a game that has been long. We're at 7 minutes or 1 hour and 50 minutes, and we've got 8 minutes to go. Give you an idea, our last game was over in 1 hour and 47 minutes. So with 8 minutes to go, I'm saying that's probably good for what, another 30, 40 minutes there, Steve?
Maybe an hour and a half.
It'll be Seattle Prep ball, long bouncing pass, and ball on the turf. Dubicki battling for it for Seattle Prep. He goes to the turf hard. And now O'Day coming away with it. And it's going to be Vida coming up with it. Now Seattle Prep sets up on defense. O'Day sets up the offense. Henninger. That timeout. What is the coach Seattle Prep telling his team?
Guys, you need to start getting the ball, and you need to start getting the ball quick. This is it. This is your last game. Do or die right here. I know I've said it before, but the coach can't say it enough times. Guys, you got to leave it all out on the field.
Henninger goes left to right, and there's a little push in the back, and there's the penalty.
Each ball taken against Seattle Prep for various possessions.
That worthwhile to go sit in the
No,
penalty box?
that's loose ball push, and so it's just change of possession.
All right, so it's going to be O'Day bringing it down, and that is Avery. Avery passes out, way out on top. Give it over to Vida. Vida brings up the left-hand side, takes a slash, one slash, two slashes, and changes direction. Again, the clock is O'Day's friend now, being up by 5 goals. Vida gets a pick, brings it around the right-hand side, passes it in the center, top of the crease. No, and then it'll come back out, and they'll give it to number 22. And he comes in, puts up a shot. It's going to go right off Schrock, and it's going to be Seattle Prep ball. That was Luke coming in.
Schrock is an active goal. He's over half line.
And now here comes Seattle Prep.
Oh, he wanted to go down and score.
And now here.
He knew he didn't have the numbers. Very smart pulling that back out so his team can set it up.
Do we see that very often?
You see it every once in a while, but I got to tell you, if he went down and scored, that would have been a spark that Seattle Prep needed, that's for sure.
Wathen has it on the wing for Seattle Prep. Takes a shot in the back. Gets sandwiched. And ball gets loose, but coming up with it is number 12, Ortiz Jones. And there's a shot, and it is good. I didn't see who shot that.
That was number 23, Clark Manal.
Seattle Prep 6 goal in the game. Scored by number 23, Clark McNall.
McNall on the goal. 10-6, 5:16 left to go.
That's what they needed. This is the start. This could be the start of the run.
Well, we've seen goals scored in a flurry today. Again, this is the 4th of 4 games, so not unheard of. Here comes the face-off. If Seattle Prep can get this possession and go right back on offense. Here it is. Ryan Day gets a ball pitched out, and ball on the turf. And ball still on the turf. Everybody hacking and waking, and it's going to go to O'Day.
Seattle Prep.
No, Seattle Prep comes up with it. And it makes a line change. And Dubicki coming in on offense. They bring it out on the right-hand side. And that is Nilsson. Nilsson trying to turn the corner. He's got an O'Day Fighting Irish player on his back. Ball bounces off the turf, but boy, they're just exchanging blows there right in front of the referee.
No, and I don't want to see them force this one because they really need a goal here, but they don't need to force it. They need to set it up. They need to run their play, and they need to get O'Day's defense back on their heels. They haven't had them on their heels the entire game. They need to get quick ball movement, and they need to get the defense moving.
Stockwell over to Layton. Layton taking his time. He's got good speed. Now he comes in. Little zig and a zag. Gets through one defender. Ball gets knocked loose. And O'Day's going to come up with it for a while. Dubicki and Stockwell battling against the O'Day player. And he's just taking big hits. And that is number 31, Vida. And Vida gets a big hand from the fans, O'Day fans. He was just getting knocked around like a punching bag there for a while, but he came away with it. Finally, the whistle blows. There's a flag thrown.
I mean, punching bag, pinball,
Yeah.
like tumbling, tumbleweed, I don't know what you call it, but he would not go down.
And it looks like we got a Seattle Prep player. Are they going substituting, or are we going to the penalty box?
No, I think you got a penalty on number 23.
That would be against Clark McCall.
Seattle Prep penalty, 1 minute for slashing, O'Day with possession.
Got him for a slash. 1 minute.
3:59 left to go in this ball game. O'Day 4 goals up. Just under 4 minutes away from winning the state championship. Lumpkin has it, and now he'll start play. If you're O'Day here, do you start eating up clock a little bit?
Well, I think they wanted to start eating up clock a long time ago, but they don't want to take the pressure off, that's for sure. I mean, if they get a look, they're going to go to goal.
Lumpkin has it. Goes out, left-hand side, over to Luke. Back to Lumpkin. Lumpkin, he's got good speed, brings it on the right-hand side. Now goes back to, no, it's not Avery back there. They move it out to Luke. For Vida, and there's a shot off of Schrock's stick, the goalie, but it goes right back to O'Day. They keep the possession, looking to shoot. They give it up, and again up to Schrock, and Schrock this time plucks it out of the air.
Just great saves by Schrock that time. And again, he's super physical goalie, really fast.
Schrock takes a big hit. Now he'll toss it down field.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, he didn't need to clear it that way.
Trying to get it to Pell down deep. And 2:48 left to go.
There's nothing worse for a coach, Perry, than to see your goalie make 2 great saves like that and then just chuck it down the field to no one.
Here comes O'Day. They pass it into the center. Schrock again makes another good save. Plucks it out of the air.
Oh, hold.
And now bringing it down is Layton.
I think they missed a hold on 24.
There's a penalty. And
here come the flags.
They're going all over as it's starting to get a little beyond chippy. And
it's going to take us a little bit to sort that one out. So I think when I was when the over and under was on an hour and a half, I think I might have been a little closer.
Yeah. I think this game has had more players in the penalty box in 1 quarter than we've seen in the previous 3 games.
I think you're right.
And it just has not slowed down. There's been more of these teams playing shorthanded. And I think O'Day has won that battle as far as number of penalties. And they've taken advantage of times that Seattle Prep has been a man short.
Yeah, and then you're just getting, O'Day is just moving the ball much better. What you're finding is you're seeing that Seattle Prep is got great dodgers, and they're getting penetration deep into the defensive end of O'Day, but they're not passing after that. They're getting in, and then they're just getting molested when they get in front of the goal instead of looking for the pass, where O'Day is looking for the pass every single time. Pass first. That's why they're winning the game, and that's why they're scoring.
They're finding that open man. All right, here comes O'Day. Is that a lightning flash? Camera flash. There's a shot, and it's up and good.
Oh, and he gets laid out after that goal. There's another penalty on Seattle Prep after the goal.
That might have been the nail. 11-6 our score.
So you just get the penalty release because they scored a goal, and you get another guy in the sin bin because he had to go and do a hit like that right after the score. That's just pure frustration, Perry.
Yeah. And it has been a chippy game, but referees have done all they could to try to keep a lid on this. These are two teams that have played a lot against each other through the years. Seattle Prep and O'Day. So it'll be O'Day will start, and it won't be a face-off, so O'Day will start with possession. And bringing it down will be Dylan Vida. Vida goes right-hand side. He gets it on out over to Luke. Luke gets it into Avery. Back to Luke. Behind the Seattle Prep goal. Back up to Vida. Damon. And the ball back and forth. Now Lumpkin. They're just eating the clock. Minute 30 left to go in this ball game. The O'Day fans, they can smell a championship here happening. Vida on the right wing.
Yeah, and there's nothing Seattle Prep can do with a man down. They can't jump the ball because they can't double.
And bad pass goes to Seattle Prep. And O'Day taking some shots. Ball goes to Seattle Prep, but they can't get it upfield. They're trying to is Lewis Schrock.
Yeah, and those bad passes are the only thing they could have hoped for on that. And now they've killed the penalty.
55 seconds left to go in the ball game. Seattle Prep playing for pride. Anything else, get another goal on the board. And there's a shot, and it's going to be saved by Drew Chapman.
No, that goes over, bounces over the goal. It's going to stay Seattle Prep ball.
42 seconds left. You give it to Dubicki. Dubicki, a little left and right dodge. Trying to turn around, put it into the goal. Nope, he won't. He'll come it out. Takes it up, and he launches it into the center, and there's a shot at goal. Good pass by Dubicki, and he got that one to number 23. That is Matthew Shields. I think I got it right?
No, Clark McNall.
McNall, excuse me.
Great feed to Clark McNall on that, but too little, too late. Only 26 seconds left in the game. Like you said, I think at this point Seattle Prep is playing for pride. They just have not had an answer for O'Day tonight.
I'd say ball control. You said the execution was going to be the key. Both coaches said that when we went down and talked to him, and O'Day has answered that call. Seattle Prep coming up a little bit short with some turnovers and maybe some unnecessary fouls. Put him a man short several times in this ball game. O'Day facing off. We hope Maury's liking it. And here comes O'Day again. And there's a shot, but right into the Chapman for the save. 10 seconds. Chapman launches it way downfield into the Schrock, picks it up. Schrock takes a hard shot to the turf.
And Maury Blossom, your son is a champion.
O'Day wins it. The private school preparatory state championship in Lacrosse, 11-7 over Seattle Prep. The fans now mobbing the team on the field.
Wait, where did the team go?
I'd rather get mobbed on the turf rather than that dirt and the grass out there. Now they're moving around. Somebody a little. And now a hard-fought game. Just Seattle Prep just unable to find an answer to the good ball movement by O'Day.
No, and it started out real even game. You could tell that they were very evenly matched. And it came down to exactly what you were talking about and what the coaches said is execution. Every time that O'Day had an opportunity, they were taking advantage of that opportunity, and they were making the best of that opportunity and getting goals, and Seattle Prep was not taking advantage of as many of those opportunities. Yes, we have some inopportune mistakes on both sides. I think Seattle Prep probably spent a little bit more time in the sin bin than O'Day did, but at the same time, when they had the opportunity to succeed, they didn't.
Yeah, they had the opportunity. O'Day, every time they were a man up, more often than not, they turned that into a goal, and that's execution right there.
Yeah, and you don't have an answer for that. And so hard-fought game, fantastic. I applaud both teams, but O'Day came away with the victor. 3 times this year they've had Seattle Prep's number.
Well, you're looking at as chippy as this game was. I saw been seeing some hugs exchanged as these players come and shake hands and congratulate each other, and you like to see that after a hard-fought game.
Yeah, like I was telling you before the game, Perry, when I was playing in men's lacrosse, we would come to blows, and we would, at the end of the game, get together, and it's such a strong, tight-knit community in lacrosse. It's one of the only sports that you can see where they absolutely want to go out and knock each other's heads off, but then at the end of the game, they're going to embrace, they're going to hug, and they're best buddies after the game's over. They leave it all out on the field.
Well, these teams did, and boy, I got to say, Steve, this is what a fun day of 4 games of lacrosse, and I got to say, I came in not really knowing a lot about lacrosse, but I'm a firm believer. I do this again in a heartbeat. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Perry, I had a ton of fun with you as well. I'm glad that this was your introduction to lacrosse. It was trial by fire. There was 4 fantastic games in front of us today, and I think we saw some fantastic lacrosse. And I don't know what else to say, but that's in the books for Washington State High School Boys Lacrosse 2019, and what of a heck of a day.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, and I want to thank Todd and Jacob Elwig. They're running the cameras, running the computers. They had all the hard work. We get the fun part of it. We get to talk about all this, but I want to thank them, our producer and cameraman, and we want to thank all you listeners. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast, not only this game, but the other 3. So, Steve, again, great working with you, and with that, I think we should probably wrap it up. It has been a lot of fun. Seattle Prep coming up short to the O'Day Fighting Irish. O'Day winning this one. They are the state champions in the Lacrosse Preparatory Leagues, 11-7 over Seattle Prep. This has been Championship Lacrosse here on STSPN.